He trusted his own blood, but that trust cost him everything. From dreams in Qatar to sleepless nights of betrayal. This is not just a story of pain. It's a story of faith, forgiveness, and finding Allah through heartbreak. When blood turns to betrayal. The heartbreaking story of trust lost forever, true Islamic story. Arif Khan had always believed that blood ties were sacred. Growing up in Hyderabad, his uncle, Rashid Chacha, was more than just family. He was a mentor, a guiding light who always reminded him, Beta, family never leaves you alone. So, when Arif got an opportunity to work in Qatar, Rashid Chacha was the first to help. He had connections, he said. He could find him a job, an apartment, everything. For Arif, it was a dream come true, a new start, a better income, a way to support his parents, and maybe one day bring them to Qatar too. The day he landed in Doha, he stood beneath the glowing skyline, his heart filled with gratitude and hope. Rashid Chacha welcomed him warmly, with open arms, introducing him to friends and colleagues. For the first few weeks, life felt perfect. But slowly, cracks began to appear, small things that didn't make sense. Arif noticed how his documents were always handled by his uncle, how his salary didn't match the contract, and how his work permit was in a company name he didn't recognize. It's all formalities, his uncle would say, smiling, your family, trust me. And Arif did. He trusted him blindly, the way a son trusts a father. But one afternoon, everything began to crumble. Arif received a call from the company's HR. They needed him to sign renewal papers. Confused, he visited the office, only to discover he wasn't listed as an employee at all. His ID, his documents, everything had been registered under someone else's name. His heart sank. When he confronted Rashid Chacha, the man laughed nervously, saying it was all part of a business arrangement. But the more Arif pressed, the darker the truth became. His uncle had used his name to secure fake contracts, take commission from recruitment agencies, and even borrowed money in his name. The trust that once felt sacred now felt like poison running through his veins. Chacha, why would you do this to me? He asked one night, his voice breaking. The old man sighed, avoiding his eyes. You wouldn't understand, Arif. In this world, everyone looks out for themselves. The words stabbed deeper than any knife. From that night on, Arif felt like a stranger in both Qatar and his own skin. He lived in a small shared room, trying to piece together his shattered identity. He called the embassy, sought legal help, and slowly, painfully cleared his name. But the emotional wound remained. Nights were the hardest. He'd lie awake, staring at the ceiling, replaying every moment, every smile, every I'm proud of you, Beta, his uncle had said. He cried not for the money he lost, but for the relationship that died. One evening, after work, Arif wandered near the Corniche. The sea breeze carried whispers of his mother's du'as, and the azan from a distant mosque filled the air. He walked in, knelt, and poured his heart before Allah. Ya Rab, I trusted him more than I trusted myself. But maybe this pain is your way of showing me who really deserves my trust. That night, for the first time in months, his heart felt lighter. The betrayal didn't vanish, it transformed. Arif began reading the Quran after far every morning, and each verse felt like a balm to his soul. Indeed, Allah does not wrong anyone, but people wrong themselves. Surah Yunus 44. He realized that sometimes Allah allows betrayal not to break you, but to break your attachment to the wrong people. Days turned into months, and Arif worked harder, saving every rial he could. He refused to give up. One day, he met an elderly Qatari businessman at the masjid who noticed his humble nature and offered him a legitimate job in his company. You remind me of my son, the man said kindly. That moment felt like divine compensation. Allah had taken away a toxic tie only to replace it with a blessing. As Arif's life stabilized, his uncle reached out again through messages, apologizing, saying he was misunderstood. But Arif didn't respond. Forgiveness lived in his heart, but trust, that was buried deep in the grave of betrayal. He didn't hate his uncle, he pitied him. For what is a man who loses all his fear for a few dirhams? As months passed, Arif began sending money home again, helping his parents, and even quietly covering some of his uncle's debts without mentioning it. He realized that forgiveness isn't weakness, it's strength gifted by Allah. Yet, every time he prayed, he asked, "Ya Allah, never let my heart harden because of people's betrayal." Years later, when Arif visited Hyderabad again, he saw Rashid Chacha sitting alone in the courtyard, older, frilier, his eyes filled with silent regret. Arif greeted him with salam, handed him a small packet of dates from Qatar, and simply said, "I forgive you, Chacha, because Allah taught me that when people betray you, it's not them testing you, it's Him calling you closer." His uncle's eyes welled up, and he whispered, "I don't deserve your forgiveness." Arif smiled softly, replying, "It's not about you deserving it. It's about me deserving peace." That night, as Arif walked away from the house, he looked up at the sky and smiled. Life had taken everything from him, his trust, his stability, his innocence, but Allah had given him something far greater, faith that no betrayal could ever shake. He finally understood that not every relationship tied by blood is tied by sincerity, and not every betrayal is a curse. Sometimes, it's mercy disguised as pain. Arif's story became one of silent resilience, not of revenge, but redemption. Every time he passed the sea in Qatar, he'd whisper, "Ya Allah, thank you for protecting me for what I thought I needed." His tears no longer tasted bitter. They were sweet with the peace that comes only from trusting Allah completely. And though he never forgot the wound, he wore it like armor, a reminder that Allah's plans, even through heartbreak, are always perfect. If you've ever been hurt by someone you trusted, remember, Allah never lets pain go to waste. He replaces it with something far better. Share this story so others remember. Trust in people may break, but trust in Allah never does. Subscribe to Deen in Minute and keep your heart connected to the one who never betrays.